at Kashmir University. We from Amrita University are extremely grateful to the Government of India and the Honourable Prime Minister for appointing our Chancellor, Shri Mata Amritanandamayi, as the official C-20 chair. C-20 is an official engagement group of the Group of 20, G20. The G20 is the premier intergovernmental forum for the world's developed and emerging economies to address financial stability on a global basis. The C-20 is its platform for civil 20 organizations, more commonly known as NGOs, to bring forth non-governmental and non-business voices to the G20 leaders. We are extremely grateful to Professor Nilofer Kanji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kashmir, who has been extremely instrumental in organizing this event at Kashmir University. We especially are grateful to Professor Nilofer Khan, Vice Chancellor, Kashmir University, and her entire team here, who has very graciously accepted our invitation to host the first in-person event of the Gender and Disability Working Group at their breathtakingly beautiful, sprawling campus in the valley of Srinagar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will learn about the principles and ethos that guide the University of Kashmir through a beautiful rendition of Tarana.
Saygı topyam bırzal Uti şokt badi şahs alo Greze aşıkt ikbal sfari Greşmas her maktaşiç Yetişin bakmazsı açınari İmoç kaşiri İmoç kaşiri Çiyay Vat vat elm ki agar sari İmoç kaşiri İmoç kaşiri Vücut aktab bano Yat şok çiteri pet wal saniyet Usnuk zon loluk khabano Yat patir srang çat sanzal pulay Yat fiz hasfar di upwari İmoç kaşiri İmoç kaşiri Çiyay Pat vat elm ki agar sari İmoç kaşiri İmoç kaşiri Kaşiri Kaşiri
वजूद ज़न से है तस्वीर कायनात में रंग इसी के साथ से ज़िंदगी का सोज़े दरूं शरफ़ में बढ़कर सुरैया से मश्त खाक इसकी कि हर शर्फ से इसी दर्ज का दर मखनूं मुकालमात फलां तू न लिख सकी लेकिन इसी के शले से टूटा शरार अफलातूं Before I formally welcome our worthy registrar for welcome address, I would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor and the worthy registrar as a token of love to present a memento to Shri Vijay K. Nambiar.
Welcome, sir. Our students in skill development center.
Take it on behalf of the chair.
No.
We are
So I would also request the Honorable Vice Chancellor with the registrar to present to Mother Chair Amma and Bhavani ma'am who would receive it on her behalf.
And we are honored to have the whole team here. Like,
Recording in progress.
Then we have with us Ms. Niti Goyal, who is the Indian co-coordinator C-20 GD working group.
Nidhi ji, welcome. You are especially welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
And not only, this should not be end. we would love to work with you in future also.
I would love
For the welfare of our students, for the welfare of our society.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Welcome, welcome.
Bhavani ma'am wants us to present the momentous. Before our worthy registrar presents the welcome remarks, Bhavani ji wants to felicitate registrar sir also.
It's called the Aranmula mirror. So it's
Thank you, Professor Prayaz sir. And besides, I was asking to give few remarks also. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kashmir, Professor Nilofer Khan, Mr. Vijay Nambiar, former UN USG, Ms. Bhavani, Dr. Bhavani Rao, Ms. Nidhi Goyal, our guests from the country and outside country, our own faculty members and our officers in the university. Very good morning and welcome to all on our beautiful campus on this sunny morning in a chilly winter season. First and foremost, we celebrate this proud moment of our country in assuming the presidency of G20. Of course, it is a watershed moment in the history and will surely open new vistas not only for India but the whole world. Honorable Prime Minister has already announced that G20 Indian presidency will be inclusive, action-oriented and decisive. The theme unveiled by Honorable Prime Minister, One Earth, One Family, One Future, enunciates India's philosophy of Vasudha Kutumbakam. The world is a family. It is a clarion call to the world to collectively work towards building a healthier and peaceful world. Today we are here to promote and discuss one of the critical components of development of any society, which is gender equality and disability. I will quote UNICEF in defining the gender equality, says that gender equality means that women and men, girls and boys enjoy the same rights, resources, opportunities and protection. It does not require the girls and boys and women and men are same or that they are treated exactly alike, unquote. We all know that gender is a socially learned behavior based on social expectations from men and women. The gender sensitization concerns of equality help people to understand differences between sex and gender and how gender is socially constructed and stereotypes around gender roles are pronounced. We are the working professionals needed to understand it, and without being sensitive to needs of the particular gender, individuals may refrain from understanding the opposite gender. The women and children, disabled are the most vulnerable groups of the situation, and it is under pressure that boys and girls give up to the established norms of masculinity and femininity. We know that besides the policies of government which are pronounced and executed for the gender equality, that besides those government initiatives, two important components, the gender socialization and gender sensitization, are two important and critical components for promoting the equality of gender. We as Kashmir University are the oldest university in this union territory of J&K. We are a 1948 born university, and we have traveled a lot in promoting the educational standards and education of the society in J&K. Under the access and equity component of University Grants Commission, we have opened almost 7 campuses in different parts of the UT of J&K. We have established a campus long some 500 kilometers from Kashmir in Leh. Then we have opened it in Kargil. We have opened it in south of this Srinagar city, what we call as Anantnag. Then we have gone to the Baramulla, which is on the north of this. Then we have gone extreme north of the Kashmir, which is the Kupwara campus. Only because we see that when the policy and planners have seen that there is a gender inequality, we see that particularly in access to the education of women, particular to the higher education. We have seen that there are a lot of dropouts at the higher education level. So under the policy of central government policy, we also have we have also adopted the campus establishment at far off places in Kashmir, and at present we have 7 offsite campuses, which I told before this, where we promote and propagate the higher education standards for particularly from the underprivileged and underscored population of J&K. At University of Kashmir, we almost this is at present this is a university which is has been accredited NAC A+ by the NAC. We have a CGPA score almost touching A++. It is 3.31 because 3.5 is the A++ score, and we have come to the level of 3.31, almost touching A++. We are an RF ranked at 53 at present, and we are the university which is figuring at the top 100 universities of the country. And by dint of that, we are in fact eligible to go for MOUs with the 500 top universities of the world. And under the leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, we are trying to build and develop the relations with the international education institutions through the world at present. Again, at the University of Kashmir, you will be happy to learn that almost 65% of the students in University of Kashmir are female, who are admitted in almost what the DST has very recently. We have been selected for the GATI project also, which particularly promotes the enrollment of students, female students, in the STEM subjects of science, technology, arithmetic, mathematics, and other subjects. But in University of Kashmir, as we already have come to the level of enrolling almost 65% students in our post-graduation and undergraduation courses, so almost our students have female students now outnumber the boys particularly in the science subjects also. And I'm again happy to share that in the last convocation, which was held in 2020, almost 80% of the gold medals were secured by the female students of the University of Kashmir. That's a proud moment for all of us. And in the University of Kashmir, we almost teach every subject, particularly which teaches, which promotes and which propagates the gender sensitivity, gender equality. For example, we have a department of sociology, we have a department of social work, we have a unique department of which the founder director was our Honorable Vice Chancellor. University Grants Commission has given us a subject of women studies, but we have now adopted and we have now brought it into the mainstream of the university, and we have already started a post-graduation course in the gender studies at University of Kashmir. Besides that, we have a department of all the science departments in University of Kashmir, and there is an interdepartment research as well as the resource sharing at the University of Kashmir. At outreach or extracurricular activities, we also promote whether the females, particularly this year under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor, we have sent our female teams, female girls, particularly the hockey team. Basketball is a game of particularly the females. Basketball team, hockey team, and cricket team of females to the to represent University of Kashmir in the AIU. And similarly, our extension activities, which are carried by Dean Students Welfare, Professor Anisa Ji, who is also head Department of Sociology, and we have another department of Directorate of Lifelong Learning, under which we carry the extension activities, particularly in the underprivileged sections of the society. When you see the University of Kashmir, it is placed at the banks of the Dal. You have seen probably few of you have yesterday visited Mughal Garden is here around the Dal, and probably you have seen the community which is surrounding this University of Kashmir. It is what we call it's a fisherwomen community which is surrounding the Dal, and to be honest with you, that it is underprivileged in all spheres, whether it is education, whether it is economy, whether it is representation in the polity, and they are underprivileged, and we mostly take our extension activities in these areas. So University of Kashmir is sensitive to all pros and cons of the what we call gender parity, gender equality, and we give certain other terminology in defining it. I believe that because you see our leader is also a female, she is our alumnus also. So we at University of Kashmir try to be very sensitive to this subject, and we are grateful that the ministry has given us, and particularly the Amrita University and Ms. Charu, the ADG-CRP, they have chosen the University of Kashmir to host rather this C-20 conference here at University of Kashmir. Particularly, I have been slightly elaborate on the subject. I particularly welcome Mr. Vijay Nambiar to this beautiful valley and beautiful campus also. Kanta Singh, she is not yet here. She will join us tomorrow probably, or today evening. Today afternoon. Today. And Nayana Satrabhuti, she will be online joining us. Bhavani Rao, she is a very critical she has been very critical in arranging this, very important player in arranging the meeting at University of Kashmir. Sri Vidya, Dr. Mariam, Christia Grisel, Radhika Shiti, Charu Sinha, she will be joining us in the afternoon probably. Nandita Pradhan, Ms. Bakshi, Ankit, Dr. Simi Mishra, Nidhi Goyal, our which Honorable Vice Chancellor has already welcomed her. We welcome you all, and we are privileged to host you here in the University of Kashmir. We all know that, before concluding, we all know that there is still a long way to go to achieve equality of rights and opportunities between women and men, and therefore it is of paramount importance that we debate, discuss, and suggest to the policymakers and planners to secure equal access to all, irrespective of any consideration based on gender. Surely it will usher in new dawn of sustainable development in all societies. With these words, I welcome you all, and hope that you will enjoy the stay in University of Kashmir and the whole valley also. Thank you.
Tremendous achievements. And Amrita University also would like to congratulate Kashmir University on truly ensuring, both in letter and in spirit, no one is left behind. congratulations once again. And thank you for organizing such a select and diverse audience and group of members to join us for Civil 20 today. We're also very and extremely fortunate that today we have with us in person Sherpa of Civil 20 India 2023, Ambassador Vijay K. Nambiar. Ambassador Shri Vijay K. Nambiar ji has served as the former Special Advisor to the UN Secretary General Shri Ban Ki-moon. Prior to this, he was Deputy National Security Advisor to the Government of India and Head of the National Security Council Secretariat. He has also served as the ambassador to several countries in Asia and the US. During the course of his professional career in the Indian Foreign Service, he had served in numerous bilateral and multilateral appointments in Beijing and Belgrade and New York. He was also involved at the delegation level in numerous UN and non-aligned summit and ministerial conferences since 1979. Welcome to those dais, sir.
I am honored to participate today at this working group meeting on gender equality and disability, with special focus on the two themes of women's safety and security, and on engaging men and boys for gender equality. This meeting is being held under the aegis of the C-20. Our most gracious host for this two-day event is the University of Kashmir, to whom we convey our profound gratitude. Please accept, Madam Vice Chancellor, our happiness at being here and our gratitude for your excellent arrangements here. As chair of the C-20, Her Holiness Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, or Amma, exemplifies a vision of civil society where the individual and the family, as well as society, markets, and the state, work not in competition or conflict, but rather to supplement each other in pursuit of an overall harmony. The work of India's civil society groups cuts across a multitude of sectors. As you're all aware, we have set up under this C-20, India's chairmanship, 14 working groups under a variety of thematic heads. They are set up in accordance with what is called the Osaka principles of the C-20, representing both continuity in terms of the thematic subjects that are addressed and change in terms of reflecting newer concerns as you go along. Naturally, the theme of India's presidency, the world is one family, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, calls on each one of us to move away from our narrow concerns of this is mine and this is yours, to embrace the wider perspective that celebrates the bounties of nature, that is Vasudha, and the world around in a spirit of unity, respect, and compassion. Acceptance of the world as a family must imply a readiness to accept basic gender equality without compromising on diversity. These are more than just mere words, and we've been used to hearing a lot of words in this. But what is required is really what one has called earlier also a purity of purpose in pursuit of this goal. At the C-20 level, our working group on gender equality is mandated to probe deeply into the needs and fresh challenges, and we identify ways to nurture inclusion, shed stereotypes, and adopt fresh perspectives. Now, most of you are domain experts and have spent years committed to your mission. It is therefore presumptuous for me to be speaking on these issues to you. But I think I should nevertheless venture to make some general statements. Apart from the food emergency, which is intertwined with gender, the last few years have witnessed escalating costs of living, the dynamic effects of the pandemic, the climate emergency, as well as large-scale conflicts, which have caused not only major population displacements, but also affected and adversely affected progress towards gender parity. To speak of the pandemic alone, when it first broke out, people called the pandemic a great equalizer. But actually, in practice, it has had the opposite effect. In terms of gender equality, certainly. Not only has there been a spike in domestic violence against women and children and girls, but the pandemic led to a drastic rise, certainly in India, of underage marriages, as well as a systematic denial of opportunities for distance education, mainly to girls disproportionately. India has strongly advocated women's empowerment across all spheres. Our constitution, as everybody knows, contains major provisions, and the courts have over the years pronounced major landmark decisions that have radically transformed the gender landscape within the country. But these decisions, up to this day, remain unintegrated into the inner landscape of our communities, especially in the rural countryside as well as in tier 2 and 3 cities of India. More than 2 centuries ago, the eminent parliamentarian Edmund Burke had said, musty parchments, and I may add court judgments too, may give rights their sanctity, but they don't ensure them their realization. We have only to recall the 1992 case of Bhavri Devi of Rajasthan to realize this truth. For 3 decades, this lady fought the case of rape, assault, and harassment. And paradoxically, her experience actually was responsible for groundbreaking legal decisions, including court decisions and including, as you all know, the Vishaka guidelines. But she did not get justice. This underlines the basic problem that underprivileged women face in legal battles against deeply entrenched patriarchal attitudes in this country, and I dare say in many, many other countries around the world. Your work today must include a deeper exploration of how men can be strategically engaged to contribute to gender inclusion in policy and practice, with the understanding that shifting traditional gender norms will require collaboration from everyone in society. In fact, somebody calls it an entire revisualization of what it means to order the lives of communities. Men must be willing, and men and boys must be willing to concede that their rights apply equally to their mothers, sisters, and daughters. We have, for example, the very, very strong Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao movement is one example. This must remain as much more than a slogan. Universalizing private education is a great primary education is a great achievement. In time, this has to go into secondary and higher education too. Even today, most men and boys think that they have a priority claim to any opportunity for work, education, or skill development as compared to women. This attitude, of course, must change. Having an event in Kashmir with the participation of the CRPF in Srinagar serves to highlight an important fact. It focuses our attention on the important protective and preventive service role of the government and how a mature and sensitive approach on the part of the security forces can make all the difference. I'm happy to see that you have, in the course of your own planning, identified 3 panels today, this morning, on legal reform, public platforms, school curricula, and 2 panels tomorrow on professional sector gender sensitization as well as youth mentorship programs. Along with this, you also seem to be having long, broad-based CSO conversations. I hope that you will also look at important case studies or udaharans, as we have said, and on engaging men and boys for gender equality. Your dialogues will enable you to identify very important high-impact policy proposals, and I think that's the whole point of this entire exercise which we are having around the country this year under India's chairmanship of the C-20 and indeed of the G20. We are hoping that these sub-themes will be analyzed in detail and you will come with practical policy suggestions, both for the inception conference and for the evolution of what we call the zero draft, and subsequently for the C-20 summit in July. That, we hope, will also be reflected at the G20 world leaders in September this year. I can only end by saying that I wish more strength to your elbows, your collective elbows, and hope that the kind of dedication you bring with all your experience to this effort will in fact bring something meaningful under India's chairmanship of both the C-20 and the G20. Thank you very much.
I call upon Dr. Bhavani Rao, the Indian co-coordinator of the C-20 Gender Equality and Disability Working Group. This working group meeting will be drawing upon national and international experts together to deliberate upon safety and security and how to engage men and boys for a more gender harmonious future. To introduce you and to set the context of the policy dialogue, we have with us Dr. Bhavani Rao. She is the Dean of the School of Science, Social and Behavioral Sciences at Amrita University, a top-ranked university in India. She is also the director of 2 research centers, Amachi Labs and the Center for Women's Empowerment and Gender Equality. She has been appointed as India's UNESCO Chair in Gender Equality since 2016. Since 2008, she has led many field and research projects funded by international and national institutions, including UN agencies and the Government of India. Her work focuses on empowering vulnerable communities, especially rural women, in different areas of their life, including skills for livelihoods, environmental stewardship, and physical and mental well-being. One of her passion areas is training in gender sensitization, and she has been leading initiatives in training students and over 25,000 personnel from the paramilitary forces. Dr. Rao?
Some realistic, deep, precise policy guidelines that will go into the C-20 dialogue and the C-20 policy pack, hopefully then advocating so that it makes it to the G20 level and accepted by not just our country but the 20 G20 nations across the world. And so again, very warm welcome to everybody to this couple of days of deliberations here in beautiful Kashmir. Thank you again for a very warm hospitality and great planning. So I'm speaking here on behalf of C20's working group on gender equality and disability, and I'm here with my co-coordinator, Ms. Nidhi Goel, who is from an organization called Rising Flame. I'll quickly introduce Nidhi ji before I go into the depth of our presentation. Nidhi ji is the founder and the executive director of Rising Flame, and she works on the protection and promotion of the human rights of people with disabilities, and she has a special focus on the intersection of women with disabilities and both women and youth with disabilities. So she's done tremendous amount of work. She's also on the steering committee of the C20, along with being the Indian co-coordinator of the Gender Inequality and Disability Vertical working group over here. She also has done extensive work with UNHRC and with FICCI. She's got numerous projects, and she is the light to many people across our country and the world. So you know the C20 logo is "Be the Light." So she is the light. So a little bit of an introduction about our organization also, so that you know who you're working with. Our chair, as Nambiar sir has introduced, is Amma. She's a world-renowned humanitarian leader, but she's also the chancellor of Amrita University. And as Radhika mentioned, the university is a very distinct university in the sense that research at the university has to be driven by compassion and must have societal impact. So all research at the university has direct implications at the grassroots levels in over 150 rural communities that we work in 23 states of the country. So this is all adopted rural areas that we work in. So going to the next slide, the university stands 8th in the world or the THE rankings. So the THE rankings are the Sustainable Development Rankings, and on gender equality we stand 8th in the world. And education, quality education, we are the 5th. To 37th in good health and well-being, As I don't know if some of you know that we have two world-class institutions, medical institutions, one in Kochi and one in Faridabad. Faridabad one is supposed to be the largest in South Asia with 2,500 bed hospital that was inaugurated by our Prime Minister in August last year. Yeah. And in 52nd in the world on clean water and sanitation. So we are in the top 100 in the world in terms of our impact to the environment and the world around us, and the top in India in terms of the THE rankings. Quick overview on the Gender Equality and Disability Working Group. Why are we here? What are we planning to do? So the main objective is to ensure that the civil society considerations that are related to gender equality and disability get taken into account into the G20 discussions, and they're translated into the G20 leaders' declarations on policies as commitments and are implemented. They can say, yes, we will do it, but they may never ever do it. So it's our responsibility as civil society that we really get to the absolute crux of what we need to make sure that we do the best in terms of gender equality and in disability rights, translate that to the G20 level and follow up to make sure that they get implemented. And because it's a really large process, it's a process that started with the inaugural function, and that was in January, and we're just in the next month, February, where we have actually inaugurated this particular working group. We've had our first meeting on this, the inaugural was on the 2nd of February. On the 7th of February, we had the first virtual meeting on this particular subject, where we're talking about the safety of women and people with disabilities. At the same time, how do we engage men and boys to make sure that we have a gender equal society? Very soon after that, 13th of February, and this would not have happened if it not for the had been for the University of Kashmir, to pull in to have our first face-to-face meetings, taking whatever we have actually deliberated on the 7th meeting, going deeper into it, and then trying to extract from it what we need for our zero draft of the policy pack. This policy pack needs to be ready by mid-March, which is the mid of next month. So whatever deliberations we have right now basically form the essence of what we call the zero draft policy that we will be presenting at the inception meeting, which will be held in Nagpur on 21st and the 22nd of March. And the process goes on to the final policy pack, which will be deliberated upon in April in Orissa and Bhubaneswar, which definitely we hope to see the presence of the University of Kashmir, followed by the final meeting, which will happen for the C-20 in July, I think end July. So it's a very intense process of going broad and then zooming in with a lot of work. So this kind of just shows you how much of deliberations we have to do, how many white papers we have to produce, and how do we distill from those white papers the exact points that we will then translate into policies. Okay, so the outcomes of today's program, which is refine the policy deliberations that we have had on the 7th into key areas. We've condensed the conversation that we had on the 7th to certain key areas. You abstract the key issues and you take it to a global level. So a lot of the conversations were very local, very India-centric, very to our specific needs. But this is a conversation that belongs to the world, not just to India. While we are leading the conversation, it just doesn't belong to us. So to abstract that from the local to the global context, but also, like Nambiar sir said, to identify the best examples, because examples really inform what policies we need to make sure that we are successful. So this is what the program outcomes we are hoping from today. And I think this is just to set the tone of the deliberations, and I'll wrap it up over here so that we can move forward. I think we're already running a little late on schedule. So I hope this gives some clarity to everybody in this room about how we would like to proceed, and also to the people online.
Shah sir, that she is having to her credit first Dean College Development Council, first Dean Students Welfare, Women Dean Students Welfare, first Women Registrar, and the first Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university. And from the time she has taken over, she has seen to it that everything is meticulously planned and executed. That is what actually she wants on ground. And it obviously happens so that as you have at the helm of affairs the person, then accordingly the people work in that. very particular domain. So regularity and punctuality has been her main concern, and hope and thankfully we have been in a position to actually come to the expectation of the Honorable Vice Chancellor to enforce this regularity and punctuality on our campus. And the concern ma'am has for the civil society. As and when we have any program, ma'am is rather than the program more concerned about what it has, the societal impacts. That is the uniqueness in our Honorable Vice Chancellor, soft spoken, humble, I may say, giving room to everybody to work, and everybody has an access to Honorable Vice Chancellor. So we are fortunate to have her as our Honorable Vice Chancellor in this university. Ma'am, for presidential remarks for this session.
Thank you, Kayasa, for your generous words. Good morning to everyone. Assalamu alaikum. On my right side, I have a very honored guest accompanying this team, Mr. Vijay Nambiar, former UN USG of Government of India. So very happy to have you here, and we do look forward to have more association with the team. Dr. Bhavani Rao, Indian Coordinator for C-20, Gender Equality and Disability Working Group, whom I had a chance to talk just a day before, and I hope that all the concerns are taken care. Again, a great moment to meet you and to know about your university, to know about your chancellor, to know about your programs, to know about the accreditation of the university. Definitely, we do look forward that it does not stop here, our association. We move forward. You also have with you Madam Nidhi ji, again a great personality who has worked so much in the field of gender equality and disability. I'm sure she'll also be the role model for our university also. Madam Charuji is not here, but we are grateful to her for giving us an opportunity to conduct this particular program in our university. As my worthy registrar already said, that he gave the scenario of statistical data of our girl students, whether in research, PG programs, even we have good number of girl students at UG colleges. So this gives an idea how much importance Kashmir gives to the literacy status of our girls. But again, some of the examples were given regarding maybe the scenario with us is different, but at the grassroots level it's very different. I have on my left side my registrar, Dr. Nisar Ahmed, me, the coordinator of this program, whom I had given the responsibility, Professor Fayaz. We have members from civil society and NGOs, our Director DICA, Professor Manzoor, other faculty members from our university, my joint registrars of various sections, who have really worked very hard for this program. And I know that even yesterday they were on the campus late till evening. My other colleagues who are participating in this particular program, PRO of the university, I hope I have not missed anyone. I can see my cultural officer at the back who has been given the responsibility for tomorrow's cultural program. So, we thought that this particular, because we never wanted to have a huge group, but a smaller group which could cater to the needs of this particular program. In a way, personally, I say that both the themes are very close to my heart. I think throughout my professional career of 37 to 38 years in this campus, I have advocated for both the themes. That is, as DSW, I opened Equal Opportunity Cell at DSW. I'm the founder director for Center for Women's Studies. Number of capacity building programs, we organized on the campus. Number of gender sensitization programs. Number of capacity building programs for our physically challenged students. So both the themes are very close to the university, and University of Kashmir is well aware of both the themes that we have to work on them, and we try to facilitate in each and every way wherever we can. I always share this example in any this type of a group. I have a driver at home because examples are to be given. Once I told him, where are your children studying? He has a son and a daughter. Son, he told me, he's studying, he lives somewhere towards the hilly area, a Gujar community. He said, my son is studying in a private school. I said, where is your girl child studying? He said, in a government school. So I told him, why is she in a government school? And he said, I cannot afford to put her in a private school. So these are the real instances. Somewhere even this type of discrimination is made. So really we have to aware people at the grassroots. Although now she's grown up, she's taking coaching from the Akash Institute and very intelligent than her brother, but when she was given that opportunity, she was made aware, her family was made aware, there's no difference. So these types of counseling, these types of timely interventions, they really help. In a really, it's truly a historic occasion for the University of Kashmir to host this two-day Civil 20 working group meeting on gender equality and disability, which provides a platform for all important stakeholders to deliberate upon the identified themes concerning the mandate of the working group. I think the schedule that has been prepared is really wonderful, and everything is just taken care of. I particularly like the theme engaging men and women, men and boys, boys and girls, this is really a need. And this gives an opportunity. Really, we have to change the mindset now. That is very important. And whatever Bhavani ji said in her speech is really very important. And higher educational institutions, universities, colleges, they can play a major role through their students. As you said, all your research has implication at the societal level. I think a very good direction. Even we at our university try our best to have the societal implication, whether it's policy making, whether it is engaging the civil society, anywhere we try our best to have the societal implications of all our research. As my registrar already said, ours is the National Accredited University A+, and he again gave other rankings about our university. Personally, about myself, really, I'm very glad to inform you that C-20 Working Group on Gender Equality and Disability is really, again, a great source of satisfaction for us. We have been also chosen for Y20, deliberations amongst the 15 universities in the country. So this adds to our credibility and visibility, and again the mandate this university has pertaining to the gender equality and promoting the welfare of our physically challenged students, and even to work in the society. We are going to have this Youth 20 dialogue, which is scheduled in May this year, and focus is climate change mitigation. For the information of the August gathering, we have a very, experienced faculty in our earth sciences faculty, and even of the not only national repute, even of the international repute. Number of projects they have working at the international level. So we thought it's better we deliberate on climate change mitigation. So definitely hosting these important events is a testimony to the relentless efforts put in by the university's leadership, faculty, non-teaching staff, research scholars and students to make a strong imprint on the country's academic landscape. As we all gather here to discuss the key themes related to gender equality and disability, it's a greatly satisfying to inform here what my, the person who speaks, and at the end, already the maximum is covered. My Red Star has already covered about the percentage of students at research and at the, PG level. But I must say that our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has made a clarion call to the country's youth to get involved in advancing India's G20 agenda. Our Honorable Chancellor Shri Manoj Sinha ji has impressed upon the universities in the Union Territory to play an active role in this regard and hold events and competitions involving both faculty and students to spread the country's G20 message. It has been rightly conceived by the country's leadership to engage universities to help attain 17 Sustainable Development Goals identified by G20 countries, because universities are powerful institutions having a great capacity to drive a positive social change. Therefore, the role of universities to promote gender equality, gender diversity, and gender inclusion can neither be overlooked nor ignored. Besides promoting research on emerging challenges that impede the cause of gender equality in the societies, the universities can utilize the student community as a strong means to engage with the community to promote awareness on gender equality. I realize that the last thing academia can do today ignore is to stay aloof from what the society needs. In this context, the National Policy 2020 lays great emphasis on promoting interdisciplinary research and education to address emerging challenges that our societies is faced up within different arenas, be it education, economy, polity, gender equality, environment, conservation, and others. I hope the two-day deliberations will truly prove to be a catalyst in driving right policies on gender equality and disability. As we all know that post-pandemic, the gender concerns, especially of women coming from underprivileged sections of the society, have increased manifold, and it is in that context as well as that the working group meeting assumes great significance. And I wish this particular conference, two-day conference, a success, and the motive and the objective which Bhavani ji and Sir Namya ji explained, we reach to them, and what our main concern is pertaining to gender equality and disability. We together as a group really make a change and change the mindset, whether it's men, women, boys or girls. Thank you very much.